We are constantly accused of using secret electronic devices to communicate with each other. Now, the reality is that we work on this for hours every day, around 1,000 objects per day.
And we did Ukraine's Got Talent, then America's Got Talent, then the World Championship. And every year we give ourselves this crazy challenge to work towards to.
What's behind that mentality when you set yourself on a goal that is very high?
We have full faith in each other because I spent most of my life not pushing myself. I didn't ever imagine that any of this would be possible. I was a close-up magician for years and I thought that was it. I was never like this until we met.
Today, we're sitting down with world champions of mentalism who've spent years mastering human connection to understand how it's built
and what it really takes to know someone beyond words.
What's the difference between knowing that you're with the right person versus being with someone that you don't feel is meant for you?
The relationship that I was in before was so bad that I decided I didn't want to be in a relationship again. For the first time in my life, I learned to enjoy my own company.
But in my previous relationship, when I wasn't happy, I couldn't really see it because I was always giving myself excuses. That's how everybody is feeling. Everybody's going through stuff. No relationship is perfect. And when I started realizing that I'm putting myself in a comfort zone, it's hard to tell this to somebody because it's hard to realize that you're in a comfort zone.
How do you master connection?
Could you lie to each other?
How do you fight?
What is the toughest thing you have navigated outside of magic?
Are you ready, Marina?
I'm ready.
Can you tell me what this is?
Those glasses. Is it a black hairband? This feels like a book.
What?
First 3 digits of the number on it?
9,
No.
7,
No.
8.
No! Today's episode is very special because, and this is not a clickbait, you have an opportunity to win $100,000 by commenting something. But I'll get there later because before that, we are in the room with greatness.
Legends.
With world champions of mentalism, which is basically like Olympics for magic. I know there was something that happened and it just says so highly of your performance. The judges thought that you had fake members at the audience because of how good the trick went.
It was unbelievable, basically.
We can say that we fooled the judges. But that was really cool. That was a cool moment. It was scary, but cool at the same time because that's your goal. But at the same time, ooh, what if they don't believe us? And then we get disqualified. But it turned out well for us.
We had plans for anything that could possibly go wrong. We're overthinkers, so we made sure that we were covered no matter what, but it went as well as it could have. Came off stage, massive high, and then suddenly we see this kind of rumbling with the jury. And someone comes up to us and says they think you're using a stooge, and that's instant disqualification if you're using a stooge. So we had to meet them in their office a couple of hours later, which the closest feeling I can describe is that felt like being called to the headmaster's office when you're in school.
I dropped a bomb, let's be honest. $100,000, right? Could you please explain to our viewers why are you offering $100,000 and for what?
So in this day and age, there's a lot of things that you can do with technology. We are constantly accused of using secret electronic devices to communicate with each other as the method of our act. Now, the reality is that would be the easy path. What we did is we do it, and magicians would know, we do it the old-fashioned way, which requires a crazy amount of skill and practice. We work on this for hours every day, and we have done since we met. So to dispel that theory, we have this offer. If anyone that can prove that we use any kind of secret electronic devices to communicate with each other, or if they can prove that the blindfold is in any way gimmicked or she can see through it, something like that, they get $100,000. And we have a genuine process for this, where we've only had one so far because everyone keeps backing out at the last minute. But we will talk about this on Zoom, and we'll come up with a test that we're both happy with that will convince them. And if we complete the test, all they have to do is post on social media that they tried to claim and failed.
That they were wrong.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And if we can't complete the test, we wire them $100,000.
I think there's no better way to start this episode before we dive into the love and the relationship behind your success than starting by you showing us your magic.
Yeah, give us
And
a taste.
our viewers watching this, good luck. You may have a chance or not, but there's a process.
All right, let's do it.
Go boy.
First of all, May I take the blindfold?
Yes.
Let's get the admin out of the way. Can you have a look at this? Maybe you can both check it out. And just make sure that there are no secret electronic devices hidden inside
It's like
there. You
our
can't see through it.
100% curtains that fully remove the light.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I am so excited.
All right, let's
I'm
warm
nervous.
up a little bit first.
Okay.
Agon, can you start shuffling these cards for me?
Of course.
This is one of the ways that we practice at home. There are more combinations in a single pack of cards than there are stars in the observable universe.
Wow.
That doesn't sound true, but it is. 52 factorial is 1 followed by 68 zeros. The number is massive.
Wow.
But wherever you finish shuffling, that's going to be your order.
I
And,
have finished.
and also, it's worth noting that we'll give you the blindfold at the end and the cards.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you can have both.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold your hands like a bowl, like this. Are you ready, Marina?
I'm ready.
Can you see the cards?
The first one I believe is a red card. It's diamonds. I believe it's 3 of diamonds.
Good. Can you tell me this one?
This is a black card. 2 of clubs.
Very good. This one?
Okay, why don't you start dealing the cards? And Sonya, could you say stop anytime you want?
Okay. Stop.
Sonya, I have a feeling that you've stopped exactly at a 5 of spades.
5. No. Spades. Of course, those cards are for you. But listen, I don't want you to think this is some kind of a card trick. So we're going to try this with.
I'm lost for words, literally.
You have your handbag with you?
Yes.
Please start pulling random objects from your handbag. Marina will attempt to describe what those items are.
No, like my own stuff. I'm not gonna make any sounds.
Can you tell us what this is next?
Okay, so the first item's quite simple. I think those could be glasses.
That's
They are,
correct. Okay, the color?
It's a beautiful, like kind of like caramel brown color. Lovely.
Please tell me what this is too.
Oh, this is a hairband.
I want to know the color.
Is it a black hairband?
It's a black hairband.
It's crazy.
Why don't you pull out a load of stuff? Let's
Let's just.
see what this is, would you?
Okay, this feels like a book.
Wow.
This is a book. Well done. Will you try to tell me the first 3 digits of the number on it?
9,
No.
7,
No.
8.
No! And you're facing the book my way. That's insane. Please don't worry about anything. All is good.
What-
What is this? Oh, okay.
Perfect. Carry on.
Okay, so this is something. It smells familiar. It smells like maybe a deodorant. Is it a roll-on deodorant by any
Excellent.
chance?
Now the brand.
Is it Nivea, right?
No! And this was not even.
I knew that smell. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, we are having some sensitive information. Okay.
Ooh, love it.
I want to know what this is.
Okay, feels like a wallet.
Good. The color.
Is it a beautiful red wallet, James?
Quite right. Okay. Tell me what this is.
Okay, so lots of personal information. I like this. There is an ID. It could be an Emirates ID.
Good. Well done. Perfect. Do you know the date of birth on it?
Yes, it's in October, late October 29th, I want to say.
No.
He didn't even pull it out.
She knows my birthday.
I mean, I guess we could have found that
We
out
could have,
online,
but we
so let's-
didn't.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
Let's do a few more
More
things.
things. Okay. I mean, I don't
Let's
know that
try
many
and speed
things.
this up. If we can get quite a few things out on the table,
Okay. Do I have more things?
see how we get on.
Okay.
Can you tell me what this is?
Okay. Well, easy. That's a phone. An iPhone, I suppose.
That's correct. See something about the iPhone.
Ooh, let's try something with this phone. In fact, guys, any of you, can you hold it face down on your palm and just gently touch the back like this? Okay. And as you do that, I will try to sense the remaining battery percentage on this phone. Just keep it locked, okay? Just hold your finger on the back of it. I believe this phone is charged to either 63 or actually no, 64% battery at this moment.
No! And by the way, I have seen you take this phone out. You barely even opened it. She knows your battery percentage better than you.
That's
You
for
wouldn't
sure.
know.
That's for sure. Wow.
So this is what it's like to experience magic in real life.
Oh.
So something
Wow.
else? May I use one of your bank cards?
Yeah, go for it.
Wow.
Try to tell me the type of card this is.
So this feels like a Visa type.
Very good. Where's it from?
Is it from the UK?
Nice. And the bank?
This
Focusing?
could be, yeah.
Nice, brilliant. Do you know the bank?
That's Revolut, correct? I know that bank.
That's correct. Anything else?
Let's try something else. So hold it like this in your hands. And, okay, so you may not remember all the numbers on that card.
No.
Yeah, even though you might use it every single day, right? But all of those numbers are locked somewhere in your mind. So now I need you to think about the last time you used it. And I will try to tell you the 3-digit security code. You're doing great. I'm picking up on the first digit already. I think you're sending me a 2, followed by a 4, and I have a feeling there is a 6 as well. So 246.
Wow.
This is in honor of your work.
Hey. All right.
Wow. First of all,
Thank
what
you.
what the hell? That was insane. It was insane. How does it feel in that moment? Do you feel like two separate minds? Do you feel like you're one mind? Like, what is the connection between the two of you feel like when this is happening?
That's a good question. From my point of view, I definitely feel like we're just one at that moment.
Yeah.
Like I'm inside his head. That's how I feel. Obviously I can't see anything, so I'm just in complete darkness. All I hear is just his voice and his thoughts. That's all.
You hear his thoughts.
Yeah, that's how I can explain it.
Wow.
I almost can hear the way he's processing things, the way he's going through. Like it's a weird connection that we have. But you as a couple, you probably have the same thing. I bet you do.
There are synchronicities
Yeah,
that happen
absolutely.
between us that are,
Like
for
when
lack
you
of better
finish
word,
each other's
magical.
words and stuff
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that, or like I will think of something and he will say it, or he will think of something and I will say
Yeah,
it. But
so
this
This
is
is
on
just
another level.
this on like steroids.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of trust required, and on the surface, the very basics of this are what everyone does all the time. So it's as simple as, if say, terrible example, but it's all I got. Let's say you go, I'm going to go and grab some beers with my mates, and she goes, sure. You know what that means.
You know,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
there's
You
an
read-
energy
You
beyond
read
the
between the
word.
lines.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you spend your time practicing this act hours upon hours every day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you have an invisible, powerful connection between the two of you.
Yeah, although it's very important to mention that it's not psychic.
Yeah.
We don't believe that we have any of those abilities. We think that all of this stuff is natural and science-based.
With your incredible connection, have you ever had to go through difficulties of like not ever being able to even say a white lie because one of you would read that there's something off? How do you then navigate everyday life when all you spend is mastering connection?
I'll paint a scenario for you. It is Marina's birthday. It's coming up, and you want to surprise her with something incredible, but you don't want her to know. And somehow you've gotten like her friends involved or like her family involved, and she's not supposed to know. Could you keep that from her?
Yes, I think I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that he could, and he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
he surprised me a lot of times before.
So you could keep something from each other, but you could not lie to each other. Because there is a slight difference, right? You could withhold a piece of information, but could you say something that was not truthful?
I think that would be harder because we know each other so well, and again, it's not anything to do with us
You don't need
being
it.
supernatural. It's to do with just knowing each other, and the amount of
Yeah.
time we spend with each other means that we know each other's tells. We know everything about each other.
You're saying, of course, this is all natural. You're not psychic and anything. What's the cost of you have the glamour. You have received all of these accolades and you're world champions. What is the price that you pay?
I guess the price we pay is the amount of work that we have to put in. So it's the sweat equity that goes into the act. So we would usually wake up. So we practice by challenging each other with objects and things. I will go through random things, and AI's helped massively because we can get AI to generate just random things, come up with crazy stuff that we never could have guessed that we would get. And then I'll go through, I'll look at the things, and Marina will try and guess what it is. And we do that with probably around 1,000 objects per day, which takes multiple 1-hour sessions throughout the day.
1,000 a day.
At
Yeah.
least, yeah. If something big is coming up, then we will make it
Double down.
double, triple, yeah.
This is something relatable to us in some ways. Perhaps we don't do 1,000 objects a day, but we've been working for a long time. And we know that when you work together as a relationship, there are moments where the lines get blurry and you start being colleagues, right, at work, and lose the relationship aspect of being together, right? Do you face these issues, and how do you deal with that as a relationship?
Sometimes it is very important that when we're not working, we don't discuss it.
It's hard,
So we have
but we
those-
try.
You go on a date and you don't start saying the objects and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And our way of relaxing, our relationship side is being at home watching TV with our dogs. That's our favorite
Thing to do.
time, moment, eat some crappy food. And So whenever we've got time to do that, that's what we'll do. Now, we do manage to have dates and things like that, but we usually save those for when we're traveling because we travel so much.
It's really fascinating where people accomplish being excellent at something, right? And you sometimes use the word obsession, right? I wonder, how are you the balancing force when he's working too much? You bring him back?
100%. I have to remind him what time it is. I have to remind him that he needs to eat. I cook lunch and then, okay, it's time. Take a break. Have some tea. I try, because he just never stops. He is such a workaholic. And I admire that.
I want to see what your life outside of your work looks like. So you said, of course, you like to connect, watch TV, and just, I suppose you also just want to actually like wind down. And so that's like a de-stressing type of thing. How do you find that you are staying in love and connected outside of work in a way that is deep? How are you knowing what's happening in each other's like emotional worlds?
Well, for me, it's never, the way that I feel about Marina has never changed. I felt madly in love at the beginning, and it's never wavered throughout the whole time. And I mean, I've had relationships in the past that it's never been like that. It's never been so consistent. And sometimes Marina worries that things are going to change, and I keep having to look, it's never going to change. She says, you can't know that. Well, yeah, sure, I can't know that, but based, like, it's been 8 years now.
Yeah.
And like, come on, like, this is forever. And I couldn't be in a happier place. And I think the fact that Marina just makes me better, I think we make each other better. And I think we get along, we laugh together. It's more than just passion. I think the important part is just being able to laugh together and have a good time together and be genuinely yourself.
Yeah.
I think that makes a huge difference. What about for you?
Yeah, well, we have our own love languages, right? My love language is probably just acts of service, and I try to like.
You
make
like
sure
to
that
give or
he's-
receive?
I
acts of
like to give. Yeah,
Okay.
I like to make sure that he's always fed, that he's looked after. If he's working for a week on something, and he will not notice that he has a lot of clutter around his table, I'll just go and pick it up for him, just to make sure that and then. I believe your acts of service, like your love language, is more like gifts, and you like to give me things, and make me happy like that. Yeah.
And cuddles.
Yeah. So like we just know what we like, and we just make it work like that. Yeah. I bet you guys do the same, right? Do you have different love languages?
It's funny, our love languages changed over the years of being together. Your especially, I think I stayed a little bit more within, because mine were always words of affirmation.
Yeah.
So that was something I wanted to receive, but I also would love to give. I empower people around me by my nature. I love when people feel the best versions of themselves through my words, and I would do this for Sonya in the early days, and she
Now
didn't
I feel
have
like that's
that.
me.
Now you give this to me,
Yeah.
but you at the beginning when we did a test,
It was
she had
not
this
my
at
thing.
the almost lowest,
Right.
and
Yeah.
it's adapted to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be so uncomfortable with both receiving any kind of praise and giving it. Like it
Same
just
as
felt.
me.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I was telling you how amazing you two are. You were like,
Yeah, I never know what to do.
You don't want to look smug, right?
Yeah,
No,
thanks.
it's not that.
That's what I used to think as well.
You connect
Yeah.
the way I take it, because I'm pretty good with giving compliments and taking them as well.
Yeah.
When someone gives me like a serious compliment, my instant energy and connection is to connect to the amount of work it took to do this. So like if someone tells me something about my character that I've worked on for a long time, I feel, yes, I deserve to hear this because it took so much work. And for you guys, I mean, you practice every single day. You have the actual confirmation of the world that you're incredible. You went on talent shows. You make our jaws go on the ground, right? So it's so easy to be like, you know, like, I'm excellent. I believe you guys are just like magic. Listening to the both of you, it's very clear that you balance each other out, right? But I know that both of you have been through difficult relationships before. What's the difference between knowing that you're with the right person versus being with someone that you don't feel is meant for you?
When you are the one who's in a relationship, it's so hard to see it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
It's hard to judge when you're someone else. You're looking into somebody else's relationship and be like, obviously, red flag, red flag. I feel like in my previous relationship, when I wasn't happy, I couldn't really see it because I was always giving myself excuses. No, but that's how everybody is feeling. This is how everybody's going through stuff. No relationship is perfect. And then when I started realizing that I'm kind of putting myself in a comfort zone, that it's just easier for me to just go through it like that rather than break free. And then so many things are going to change and my life is going to go upside down. And when you think about that, you're thinking, oh, no, I'd rather just brace myself and just go through it because I believe everybody's going through the same thing. But then when you're realizing that, oh no, you are doing this to yourself, when you're kind of like putting yourself in this box and this is your comfort zone, you're kind of just doing this through the whole time. That's not right. It's hard to tell this to somebody because it's hard to realize that you're in a comfort zone. I feel like it took me years. But that was my kind of realization.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not right. I need to break free. I need to do something that makes me feel uncomfortable, but it's going to take me somewhere, you know,
Was
out
there
of
a
this.
moment like a thing, like a catalyst for this change?
A breaking
Yeah, I
point.
mean, that's the moment is, I guess, when you start realizing that the things that your partner does is not really a normal thing, and it's not something that you should tolerate or not something people are going through. And when you realize, ooh, okay, maybe that's
Not normal.
Yeah, you remove those pink glasses, and you're like, okay,
Right.
you need to change that. But again, how do you see that from within? It's hard to see from within.
I think one of the most important things that happened to me after the relationship that I was in before, it was so bad that I decided I didn't want to be in a relationship again.
Yeah.
And during that time, for the first time in my life, I learned to enjoy my own company. And I realized that actually, I like myself. And I think that was the, for me, that's the reason that I ended up meeting Marina. Because I stayed single for like 3 years. And I was perfectly happy. I wasn't looking for somebody. And had I been in the state that I was in before, I probably would have settled somewhere along the line on those 3 years because of needing to be in a relationship.
Right.
So not needing to be in a relationship meant that I had that luxury of just, there was no rush. So then I was obviously still dating. I was a young dude. So, and then I met Marina and I was like, holy shit, this is different now. Now I actually want to be in a relationship, but I want to be in a relationship not because I want to be in a relationship, but because of Marina.
Yeah, I think when you don't need a relationship and you're content with yourself, it feels like anyone else that comes in is purely an addition to your already very full life.
Yeah.
As opposed to someone trying to like fill a gap that you might feel, or a validation that you want to achieve from somebody else externally. So I totally see what you mean. And it's were you looking as well, or was it
I
like,
wasn't looking. Yeah.
So you both have that in
took,
common.
some time off. Yeah, I was just doing my own thing, and then it just. I mean, I wasn't Tinder. We met on Tinder, but I wasn't like.
Well, so did we. We're all Tinder
We
people.
have the same story.
We're all Tinder people.
I uninstalled after 1 week of
Yep.
meeting her. Same story.
When did you know, and how did you know that she could be more than just your girlfriend, wife? Like, why did you believe I should bring her into the world of magic as well?
Really quickly for me, because we went on the first date and I overcompensated because I knew I liked her and tried to play it cool
That's so cute.
to the point where she didn't think I was interested.
Yeah. I went back home. I thought, oh, he's not calling me back. He was so
Wow.
cold.
You want
She's
to
a beautiful girl.
Yeah,
I
let
don't
me
want to
know.
like come on too strong.
Yeah.
So you're
I lo-
overcorrected.
Yes. And then we went out on a few dates. I think the second or third date, we went to get new tattoos because we both had our ex's names tattooed on us.
Right. Okay.
So we got them
we're
covered
all
up.
the X
You
tattoo.
covered
I had
them
it
up.
too.
Yeah. We didn't get new. We didn't
Yeah.
create new mistakes. We just got
You
them
just
covered up.
Nice.
And then it kind of went the other way where I started to think she wasn't interested.
Wow.
Because
And what caused that?
Like on like the third or fourth date, we hadn't kissed or anything like that. Like we'd gone out a lot, and I kind of thought, I'm going to do a Hail Mary here. So I did what I described
Or
at the time,
nothing.
a high risk maneuver. Because I was thinking, okay, we've been on like it was like 4 or 5 dates, and I was thinking, I need to know if she's interested or if I'm just wasting my time.
Mm-hmm.
So the high risk maneuver was something that was going to answer that question. So I just said, will you be my girlfriend? Oh. And at that point, she had like there was only a no or a yes at that point.
50-50. Good job.
At the point was, at the end of that, I'm either going to get the answer I want, or I'm going to know that
You need
this
to move
isn't
on.
going anywhere.
Yeah.
And she said, let me think about it. And then waited 2 hours and then told me yes.
What was happening in those 2
I
hours?
don't know. We were quite tipsy. It was like
Right,
it was a
okay,
lot.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Think about
It's
it.
a big thing.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
is.
Obviously, I liked him and I wanted to be in a relationship, but I didn't want to be like, I didn't want to look too eager or whatever. Yes, please. You know,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
think about it.
Yeah. Okay. So initially we were just trying to play it cool, both of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. No, it
Yeah.
makes sense. You know, you had a blindfold on earlier on, and we were talking about how it's such a
powerful metaphor
Yeah.
for a marriage, right?
Yeah.
good.
And so using that metaphor, and why we even said to put the black on your eyes, right? It really is that sometimes in life, especially in marriage, like we individually are feeling in darkness, we're blind, right? And we need to let the other person lead us through a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had moments where you had to be led through a specific challenge in your life?
To fully surrender
To surrender?
Have you had
to
that?
James.
Definitely, because again, like when we started this, James had lifetime experience in magic in this new world that I was stepping into, because I wasn't a magician before. I wasn't a performer before. I did some modeling, but that had nothing to do with even public speaking, like on stage and stuff. So I just let him guide me through that new chapter in my life, where he taught me how to, obviously, he taught me magic. He taught me how to be on stage, the first steps. He taught me everything. And I just believed him and I trusted him and I just did everything he said, because I knew I trusted his expertise and I believed that he took us to the top. You were the one who took us to the top because of your this initial push and your initial idea to even create Mind to Mind.
Yeah.
I had no idea what it was.
Well, yeah. What Marina did was she went from having no performance experience to being on BGT within the first 6 months.
Oh, that wasn't.
That's
That was
crazy.
a lot of
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. It's
Yeah.
crazy how you did that. I would never have been able to guess that performance was you relatively new to the scene.
Really?
No
Well,
chance.
thank you, because
Yeah.
I cannot watch that video.
Really?
I can't watch it. I probably saw it once when it just came out, and then after that, maybe someone made me watch it again, and I was so cringed
Wow.
out.
Really? I love it.
I could.
I want to watch this stuff. Like she doesn't like watching, because I like seeing how much we've grown.
What does it take for two people who've chosen to spend years together to actually like each other enough and love each other enough to want to continue doing that for another year and another year? What exactly are you doing right?
We always challenge ourselves, right? That's the main point for us. Every year, we come up with the most ridiculous, stupid, crazy idea to challenge ourselves that we are just, it's so, BGT. That was hard for us. And we only had like how many? 2 months to prepare?
Yep.
That was the craziest first challenge. Then we did Ukraine's Got Talent. They approached us from Ukraine. Then America's Got Talent, the top. Then the World Championship. And every year we give ourselves this crazy challenge to work towards to.
What's behind that mentality when you set yourself on a goal that is very high? So, there's a high pressure of being on the world's eyes with these talent shows, and even more, hey, we're going to try to win the Olympics of magic. What's your mentality behind it? When you get into this, do you not overthink it and you just go for it? Do you think we're going to win this? What's the mental power?
We try to keep ourselves mentally separate from outcome. We know how we want to do, but things like, this started with BGT, like it was our friend David Penn who got us on the show. He was the one that approached us about it. He is one of the best stage illusionists in the world, and he's the leading expert in tech magic.
Wow.
So because I'd just done close-up magic at the beginning, he helped us take that to the stage. And he's been instrumental throughout the years in helping us with these things. But when it was BGT, we flew to his house in the UK and spent a couple of months with him just working on the act. And it was terrifying, and I hated it, and I was worried all the time. But then when we were done, I looked back on it as one of my favorite experiences. So I know that whenever we do this, I always think, oh, for goodness sake, we're doing this again. It's another load of stress coming, but I know how much better that is than not doing it.
Yeah, it stretches you. You feel good after.
Yeah, and it keeps you sharp, and it's really bonding to go through this stress together.
The challenge.
Yeah, it sounds like that's something that anyone can take away. Like, you don't have to be a mentalist to be able to do this.
Yeah.
As a couple, you should be finding a way to challenge your your relationship together. Like, do something new or do something hard or stretch yourself in that sense.
You can apply this to everything. But for us as well, we like to overcompensate.
For?
We feel like for
your
anything
first
we're
date.
getting ready for. Like, let's say for the championship, for the World Championship, we thought, what would it look like for us to just shine on stage? What is it that we need to do to look like we deserved to win? And we take that image, but then we overshoot, and we always just double that.
Challenge
Yeah.
yourselves.
We think that would look good, but how about if we did something completely crazy, and then we just start working on it and we figure it out? And that's how, I think that's how it keeps us sharp. Yeah.
I think it's also quite a masculine thing to like want to achieve something and like see what you're made of and like keep going in that sense. It's a quality that I hear a lot of high achieving men speak like this. And for you, I'm sure you also high achieving, it's obvious, but it's clear that you do it. He's the instigator, right? Like, he starts it. So what makes you say yes?
We both have this big vision of what it could be.
Okay.
What mind to mind can be.
Okay,
And we are nowhere
right.
near where I think we can be.
Okay.
We both can see that. He is the one who actually comes up with crazy things. And I think he thinks bigger. Your imagination is so much bigger than mine.
Like,
I think.
creatively?
And then you have to explain things to me for me to see it. But then you take me into your vision and I'm like, okay.
I feel like it's the same with us. Like, it's the same dynamic. He has these insane, crazy ideas, and typically our work dynamic is such that he comes up with the ideas and I get into like the execution of it all as well. Like, devise the plan, go into the nitty-gritty details and everything, you know?
Team.
He's a big
Team,
dreamer.
like whatever
yes.
it takes. He's the visionary, and I'm like, okay, but what are the steps it's going to take? What are the things that could go wrong? What, you know, how long, everything, all of that stuff. I'm not saying that you're not as well, but you know, that's the lanes that we take. But it's the same. I sometimes struggle to see what he's seeing, but then when I see it, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So in these moments, speaking from experience, especially in the early days, nowadays we don't have these problems, but I wonder, because it's such a difficult task, you must have some fights sometimes and disagreements. How do you fight?
We never fight about work.
Really?
We will fight very rarely, but like maybe once every couple of months.
Okay.
It'll always be about, it's always the type of fight where like 2 days later we can't remember what it was about.
I never.
It's
That's
usually
good,
just
actually.
it's
Yeah.
usually just a byproduct of our stress or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. At some point it gets misaligned and we end up firing at each other instead of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all that causes our fights. It's just a slight misalignment at that moment of where we're venting.
Yeah. And do you feel like there's any skill you've picked up from your work that you can use in your relationship, specifically with regards to fighting better or more effectively?
Oh, good point.
How to learn how to have conflict in a better way, you know?
But we know exactly how every fight's going to resolve when we start it. So we already know how the process is going to go, and it's just a matter of getting through that process, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it
Okay.
usually
Can
requires
you walk
us.
me through
how,
it?
how have you found this dynamic?
So usually it requires us to just stop talking for a little while.
Okay.
Which
Because
is hard
otherwise
for
it'll
me.
spiral.
It's hard
Okay.
for me.
But I realize that that's what's needed.
Yeah.
We just need to chill for a little bit, give it an hour or two, and then one of us will go to the other, we'll hug, and then it's fine.
So who's the one who says, okay, let's stop talking now?
He's the one who stops talking. I can't. It's really hard
And
for
you,
me. It's
so you're
bothering
just
me.
silent.
Because I know that we'll spiral otherwise.
Okay, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's just like,
So
okay, at this point,
Okay.
we need to just.
And you need closure.
Yes, I just can't. I'm thinking he's just quiet there. What is he thinking about? What's going through his mind? It's eating me alive. I would rather just talk it out right now. But I think I agree with that. You need to cool down. Because whatever you're going to say in the heat, you will not say it in 2 hours. But it's normally, it ends with this.
That's it. Yeah, just one of us.
Aw, that's cute.
And is there one of you that does it better the other, or are you both equally comfortable with like saying sorry or just coming back and repairing?
I think we're both equal.
That's amazing.
And I think we take turns. I remember when was the last time that I did that. So I'm like, he's gonna do it. He goes,
I've been doing it a lot lately. Now it's his turn. I love
Oh
that.
yeah, you need a
last
couple. I think it's unhealthy to always have the other person be.
No, it's
Yeah.
true.
Of course,
Yeah.
But have
yeah,
you been
yeah.
like this from the moment you met, or have you learned this?
I think we've learned this, right?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
It came
So
with
initially it was
experience.
more spicy, the fights?
I'm not a big fan of like
Confrontation.
heavy conflict. I like debates, but I don't like conflict. I don't like anger. I think one of our things in the last couple of years was just try to remove anger, because I think it's an unhealthy emotion. I think anger is useless. I think you can feel disappointment and you can feel like there are changes that you want to make, but that actual anger emotion,
I think to
doesn't
vent
serve-
it on the other is
Yeah.
probably
In
what just doesn't seem
relationship,
good.
it's
Yeah.
not good,
I mean, I'd rather, if there's a sense of injustice, that would be a better way to describe something.
Yes.
If you're upset about something, and being upset or sad about something is okay, but the actual anger, I think, never did us any good, because then you start yelling at each other, and yelling, I don't think ever solves anything. As soon as you start yelling, that's the time to like separate, and like we'll come back and
Yeah.
talk about this in a while.
Is it fair to say that you focus on intuition in order to be able to receive the messages that he's sending? Is intuition the right thing that you tap into?
It's a combination of things, and I would say intuition probably is a little bit in there.
Because is there a reason
Yeah.
why you're the one interpreting rather than you?
We can do it both ways,
Okay.
but we realize that we are better within these roles that we have.
And so okay, intuition is one of it. What else do you think is like?
There are a lot of things. It's really hard to explain. That's kind of the big secret.
No, not your secret, but like what do you tap into? You know, like
It's a lot of concentration, and sometimes maybe the day is not right for me, and I'm not in the zone, and I'll fail on something. You know, it happens. It doesn't happen lately as much because we're just working on it so much more for the past couple of years. But it happened before when I just didn't feel in the zone. I wasn't concentrated. My mind was somewhere else, and it just wasn't connecting as well. And so experience really helps.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I ask because a lot of women tell me that they struggle with connecting to their internal intuition.
Okay.
And it seems like you have really mastered this, you know? And of course, not everyone should be practicing, you know, it's not everyone's dream. But I wonder if there's a transferable tool that you've picked up that could help women tap into their inner world with so much precision.
Right.
And I think trust.
Well, for me, again, like it only happened when I realized that we're a good fit to each other and we can trust each other. I don't think at this point, if you ask me, I don't think I could do it with anybody else because, again, once the blindfold goes on, all my senses are on, and it's almost I get this sixth sense. Obviously, I don't have a sixth sense, but I feel like the combinations of the little bit of intuition, a lot of concentration, lots of these things, they kind of come together and create the sense that I have that sixth sense.
You don't think you have that sixth sense?
I don't think so, but maybe it looks like I do. Maybe it feels in the moment that I do. But there are lots of things that come together to create that.
And
So,
it's hard
yeah.
work as well. It's not
It
just
is,
like
yeah,
you said,
it is.
you really wanted to emphasize, and I of course understand why. It's not like you're psychic. It's like hard work. So would you say that anyone who worked just as hard as you could actually get this done because it's so literal? You see?
Potentially, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'd like to see them try.
$100,000.
Just purely because I know what's gone into it. And
Yeah.
I know what we've both brought to the table in this.
Yeah.
And we're realistic about our abilities, and we're realistic about where we stand in terms of acts that are like this. And I think in the long run, we've always wanted to be known as the best in the world at what we do. That's our
done.
main focus. And
You made it.
we will never, but I think,
And now you have to keep it.
I think as soon as we get to the point where we think, okay, we're done now, that'll be the time to quit. Because I think now I want to change this genre altogether, and we're working on a new challenge at the moment that's just come in, and with the same kind of thing. I was like, I don't want to do it. We've just won the World Championships. Everyone's telling us not to do it.
Yeah.
You've just won the World Champ. Why you don't need to do that?
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, okay, we're not going to do it. So we said no. And then it just starts eating me up. I'm like, but what if we did?
The possibilities. What if?
Yeah.
And
What if
I
it all works
can't let
out?
it go.
Be
I can't let it go. I have
What
to
if
do
it all works out?
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder, okay, because I would like to connect to that idea. How do you achieve fulfillment if everything that you achieve is never enough?
Because the journey to us is what's important. Because it's like that first time with BGT when I looked back and with such fondness for those memories, that's why we do it.
Not for the championship.
And it's, I mean, that process, that year of our lives. I mean, Marina posted the thing. I don't do much on Instagram, but she posted the reel with all the stuff that we'd done in 2025. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, that's amazing. That's why we do it.
But the reason we did most of those things was because we were getting prepared for the championship.
Yeah.
So we pushed ourselves to go to these places we would normally not go and do things that we normally wouldn't do.
And also, I spent most of my life not pushing myself.
Right.
Really?
So I didn't ever imagine that any of this would be possible. I was a close-up magician for years. I used to practice my close-up magic a lot. I used to go and do corporate events, and I thought that was it. I didn't ever imagine that I'd enter FISM. Like, to me, that was just something that was so far out of what I would even think of doing. It just never occurred to me.
And so it's together that even you went to another level.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I was never like this until we met.
Even when we met, I remember, obviously, I knew that he's a magician. He was the very first magician I ever saw live. And I was like, how come you never tried any of the Got Talent things? And he was like, oh, no way, I could never. And then I'm thinking about that conversation. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that conversation we had when I never even thought I could do this with you, because I had my own thing. That was before we even thought of it. And I was like, you should do it. And you're like, I could never. But when we became this mind-to-mind thing, this is when we're like, okay, we can do it now. Which
Yeah.
I think you could have done it before as well. It's just that you never really thought of it. You didn't have that mindset to go and get
Yeah.
awards and stuff. You were happy with your business. And
This is like the definition of you're stronger together.
Yeah.
Like literally,
100%.
like case in point.
Yeah.
Kind of a situation. You're stronger together.
Yeah.
I hear that anyone, mentalist or not, can grow as a human as well as in their relationship if they were to come up with something big enough that would challenge both parties to work towards. So that's one thing. Are there other things that you believe we can learn from your mentalist journey to be better as a couple?
Well, yeah, apart from trust, believe in each other, enjoying each other's company.
We do this together, but we don't put our own expectations on the other person. And I think that's really important.
How do you manage to do that? Okay.
Because this is where the trust comes from. I know that Marina will do what she needs to do. She knows I'll do what I need to do. Just day to day, we have full faith in each other. There's never any following up with each other, accountability on, have you done this thing?
Right.
Are you doing that? You're not doing this good enough. When we practice, when we're not good enough or fast enough in our practice, we get frustrated with ourselves, but we don't get frustrated with each other.
Lovely.
Because we have complete trust and lack of...
Judgment.
Yeah, and it was... I went down the Stoicism path a few years ago, and there was one thing that always stuck in my head, and that's that there's a sentence that people always say that this person's perfect for me. But it's the wrong way to look at it. Marina's not for me. Marina's her own person. I'm not for her. We are just together, and we should make each other better, but that's my job to make her better and her job to make me better. And my job is to give, her job is to give, but I should never think about what she's giving me. Right? Because that's none of my business. That's not something that I'm in control of. I'm only in control of what I put into that relationship. So there's mutual investment, I think, over the years that we've been together. We've both put in the same amount of energy. And I think that's really important, because I've been in relationships where I've been the only one investing.
Yeah, I was just going to say this works when both of you are givers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where the trust
Comes in, right? Because otherwise, of course,
because you're gonna be taken advantage of when you're the giver,
Yeah.
and it becomes the nature. I'm the giver.
Which is what we both had in the past, where we were taken advantage of for being the givers.
Either from your past relationship or ideally together, what is the toughest thing you have navigated as a couple outside of magic?
The hardest stuff that we've ever gone through has been stuff that's not to do with our relationship. It's been things like COVID. Everyone was in the same boat, and I can't complain about it because we were all in the same boat. But we're obviously artists. We lost all our gigs. All our gigs cancelled, and we had to move to a different place. So because we couldn't afford anything anymore, we had to sell our car.
But that
was all
huge.
tough. But this is interesting. So during that time, that's when we changed our goals, because we realized during COVID that without the money, we were still happy because we had each other.
Yeah.
So then our goals stopped being related to money after that. So then that's when, so during COVID, we wrote our theatre show, because I'd never wanted to go into theatre because there's no money in it. Do corporates. That's where the money is. And that's what we were doing
Prior.
up until COVID. And then we're like, okay, we still love each other. We still care about each other. We're still happy. Let's focus on other stuff that's not related to money. So that's when we started doing theatre and started worrying about the world championships and stuff like this. And I think that was a big turning point. Is forget about money, which is
It's
I
easy
suppose
to
it's
say,
easy to
but-
say because
Not
because
really.
because as long as if you've got a roof over your head. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that don't have that, and
Yeah.
so it's easy to say. But after a certain point, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
right? We don't need to be rich. We don't need nice things. We've never been materialistic. We don't care about stuff. And also the offshoot of that was it meant that we could start charging more because we weren't desperate to get the gigs.
Yeah.
We started doing gigs that we wanted to do and started focusing on projects that we wanted to do.
That's the difference. People who chase the goals, once they hit the goal, if they don't have passion for the craft, they feel empty.
I get that 100%.
Right?
Yeah. That's why I'd coasted for so many years. Because growing up, I came from a poor, like council house in the UK, like a council background, separated parents, all that kind of stuff. Never really had any money growing up, and knew what it was like to see my mum on welfare and whatever they call it in the UK. So up until the age of 16, my goal had always been, I need to learn magic. That's what I enjoyed. At 16, I left school. I was like, my goal is to support myself completely doing only magic. And then by the time I was 23, I'd moved to Dubai, and I was doing that. But that was as far as I was concerned, my life's goal done, and I felt empty. Exactly like what you're saying. Yeah. And I couldn't understand it.
Because it arrives, and what now?
And this is the thing you've been waiting for your whole life is here, and then suddenly you just don't.
Yeah, and so then I just coasted along like that for a few years till I met Marina.
And you drift around and you try to find why you're here.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for people to learn that, and especially hear from people like you, like people with such achievements. It's like you don't just go for something to achieve money and success. You go for something because this is like something that makes you wake up in the morning and feel excited about it. And maybe sometimes you feel the stress of like how big the goal is, but because you love it, you keep on pursuing it, no matter if you won or didn't. Like if you didn't win the championship, imagine you saying, oh, we're not good enough, we're gonna stop doing this. Yeah. Like it would sound crazy for you, right?
Yeah. It would have been a week of that, probably. We would cry for a week.
1 week.
But then we'll
be like, no, we're back again. Even stronger.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're real people, of course, with real feelings, but
The tough part about that, and this was crazy because we knew that the previous world champions in mentalism were entering again. Wow. So we're like, oh, for goodness sake.
So it was a big possibility to feel like that.
Of course, because they already won.
Yeah, so we were like, why are they entering again? Now we've got to go against the reigning world champions.
The reason why they were doing it again is so that you realize that you're the best.
Well,
we thought about that so much, and our competition during the warm-up, because we didn't know what anybody else was going to do.
Right.
Our competition was what we imagined people would do.
And you're such overthinkers, really. You even think about what they could be doing.
Yeah.
yes, we're like,
And
if
we're
they
just
won
imagining,
last time.
like they must be doing something. Like they won last time, they're going in again. It's got to be, I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
Like so, we're like, okay, all right. Now we've got to compete against this imaginary idea of what of the other acts.
It's such a niche. Like,
are you all? Magic.
Yeah, are you all friends?
We met them there. They're lovely. They were lovely people. They were so nice. Like class act.
Yeah,
They were great.
magic world is quite small compared to like other industries. Yeah, but we have a lot of friends with magic. Most of our friends are magicians.
Yeah,
that's great. That's so nice.
You meet and you share like
you have
new
community.
ideas.
We have these magic conventions. Okay. They're like these big ones. There's one in Las Vegas every August, and one in Blackpool in the UK, which is coming this February. So we always go to these conventions and we just hang out, and yes, it's a great world.
Like so, everyone from the world, like
the whole world comes into the
here.
convention. There's always like 3,000-4,000 people.
Wow.
We hang out for like 3-4 days, and then we meet again.
We love performing for magicians. Magicians for me was always like my fear point.
Right.
I was always terrified of performing for magicians. So when we were doing our warm up for FISM, we during the warm up we went to one of the conventions. We were just sitting in a room there asking magicians to come in to perform for them because I needed to get past the fear of performing for magicians. Then we went to Dallas. There was another magic convention, and we did like 10 shows over the 3 days for magicians. So I realized that actually magicians are the best audiences for good magic, but they're the worst audience for mediocre magic. This is why they're so terrifying for me is I've seen them the way they are at conventions, they're really judgmental of acts.
They can be brutal.
But luckily, this is such a specialist form of mentalism, what we do, this second sight thing.
Yeah.
A lot of them, they will know the methods, but they don't know what we're doing because we've created our own system.
You create your own system.
So they have no idea. So
That's so cool.
And I was surprised the first time we went to these conventions and magicians are coming up going, is it this? Is it this? Is it this?
They
Let
want
me
to
see
know
your
the,
blindfold.
they want to
I
know
was
the,
like, what? You want
they
to
wanna
see my
know the
blindfold?
trick.
Yeah.
and you don't tell them.
So they're like laymen to us. It's great.
They're fascinated.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Can you tell us a little bit about the world behind the scenes of talent shows? Because talent shows is something that's been running for so many years now, and so many people watch the talent shows. And you have been on 3 different ones, the
Yeah.
TV ones, right?
Yeah.
Britain's, Ukraine, and US.
America. Yeah.
What is the behind the scenes of going on a talent show and, and being so amazing on stage as well?
I feel like talent shows, they've done so well for our type of act, for magic world, because there are so many shows for, let's say, singers, musicians, dancers, but something as unique as magic or juggling or stuff like, you wouldn't have a separate show for it.
You don't have
when you have a
platforms like-
talent show where you could just go and do anything you're great at, it just brings a platform for people like us, and it's so awesome that someone created, Simon Cowell, created that type of show. It's amazing. Now there are so many of them. So we've done Britain's Got Talent, and then maybe 2 years after that, someone approached me on Facebook. It was a Ukrainian lady. She was like, I'm a producer on Ukraine's Got Talent. We haven't done Ukraine's Got Talent for a couple of years, but now we want to revive the project. And we thought, we saw you on BGT, we know you're Ukrainian, and James is obviously from the UK. We thought it would be cool if you came to Ukraine and did it. So they basically scouted us without us applying.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sometimes it can work like that.
And you got a golden buzzer, right?
We got a golden buzzer, which I thought.
I always wanted to press that for someone.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes.
Super
and
cool.
It's just, so going there, obviously we knew that we have a good act, we have a good product to come to Ukraine with, because also back then in Ukraine, as far as I knew, I didn't know any magicians there. There was a community, but it was quite small, not as big like in the US or UK. There was this huge, like the Magic Circle, the Magic Castle, big things.
Brits are great.
Yeah. So we decided, before the Golden Buzzer and everything, going into I thought, they don't really know much about magic there, and especially mentalism. Haven't heard about anybody doing a lot of mentalism. It's just I haven't heard of. But then I realized that there are some mentalists there that we learned to know. But then we're like, what if they don't understand what it is? What if they don't think it's as magical as people think it is in the UK or whatever? Maybe they just don't get the vibe. And I'm thinking, what if they give us a red X, when they're like, "Meh," that thing. I was like, what are we gonna do? It's gonna kill us. So we decided to make it a complete secret. We're not gonna tell anybody we're going. If we go, something goes wrong, we're just gonna keep it as quiet as possible and never even mention it and hope nobody watches it.
Yeah.
So funny.
It was so hard. Yeah. And then even after the Golden Buzzer happened, which is a complete shock, we're like, I couldn't believe it. We just couldn't believe it. After it happened, we looked at each other. We're like, we still can't tell anybody until it airs. Because we don't know. I mean, we know a little bit how TV works. It's TV. They can edit it any way they want.
Yeah,
And,
it's true.
you
They
know-
can make
You
it
waited
look-
and you're like, by the way,
'Cause
we're on
what-
TV tomorrow.
Once you sign off, that release, and
they-
then the
they
magic
could
of
do-
TV can happen. We're like, let's not just tell anybody how it went. And then we had to wait for like,
Well, I started saying like, what if they do like way more golden buzzers than they need,
and then they
choose, and they're
decide,
just gonna cut us.
yeah, because they say,
so humble. That's your nature.
The fact that you would even
is to
think
assume
that is crazy.
on TV they might think, they might tell you, every judge has a golden buzzer they can press within the whole show, but maybe they can press as many as they want, but then the producers and editors will decide which one deserves to go online, which. Anyway, we overthought this.
You
so we
guys are
didn't tell
great at
anybody.
like overthinking.
But
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
but you've
100%.
maximized it. Like you've turned overthinking into a job.
your craft.
Yeah.
So it has helped you.
True. Yeah, when we realized that it was, the producers called us like a month or maybe less before it was supposed to air. They said, okay, your episode is going to air. They sent us a few promo photos or something like this. Don't post anything, but you can like tease people so they can like start expecting it. And then we had the viewing party. We invited our friends. They had no idea. We're like, we're going to be on TV. There's this show. We had these friends in our house and we were watching and we were like, we already knew they're going to air the Golden Buzzer. And it was like so exciting because now your friends filmed the backstage of everybody's like, oh, they're getting Golden Buzzer. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, but we kept it. Yeah, just in case.
What an experience.
Wow.
If I had an opportunity like you, I would totally install like a golden buzzer in my room. It's like when it happens to the people, I press and it's in the room and you like bask in the slow motion.
Oh, that would have been
my
amazing.
God.
Right?
Yeah.
Just the
3D.
extra.
I can totally imagine you doing that.
I would
Actually.
totally do it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But it's a great experience. I could recommend to anyone to just do it because it just pushes you so hard to get out of your comfort zone.
Although the final,
The final,
the final was tough because I wanted to do it in Ukrainian, so I learned Ukrainian for the whole thing. Marina was doing something where she was in a different location, but everyone thought she was backstage. But the final thing was that she revealed that she was in that location.
I was on the screen the whole act, but then I revealed that I was actually in it.
So
in a totally different area.
Yeah.
But so we thought TV. There's going to be a special like van with satellites
truck,
and stuff.
yeah.
No, they were using 3G.
No.
A
3G.
mobile phone, 3G to the studio.
No.
And we've got to do this live.
3G.
And I
And we
was
went through a rehearsal
is
and it went
TV?
badly.
It didn't work once in rehearsal.
I kept on freezing on screen. I couldn't hear him. He couldn't hear me. It was very bad.
Oh no.
So then
that's
there were
scary.
tears. There were moments where Marina was like, "We can't do it," and I was thinking, "We can't do it."
We're gonna embarrass
And then
ourselves.
I don't know what happened exactly, but we ended up just doing it anyway.
The producers knew how to talk to us. Obviously,
Yeah.
they did their job really
So we
well.
did it, and I started, and then Marina started talking, and then she froze, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Live on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, "I'm just going to carry on," and then actually it ended up being okay for the rest of the performance. But my God, what a risk we
That
took!
is,
Yes.
and that's so scary.
Yeah.
The
But it
3G.
wouldn't really be on you, right?
Yeah, but they are on
but
stage.
it's
We're the
It's
ones
our
gonna
face.
see.
No
Yeah.
one will think
No
of
one's
the
gonna say, "Oh,
producers,
it's not on you."
People don't
Yeah.
think of that.
Yeah.
What we tell to people, and what we told our friends the other day, is that I think all of these things, if they're scary, you should do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, we are everybody else's extras. We are nobody else's main character apart from our own. So the fact is, the worst case scenario still to everybody else is just a thing that they know. It doesn't matter to anybody. So you might as well do it because I'm my own main character, so I might as well do the best I can. This is what I was telling a friend of ours in Vegas, because she's a singer, absolutely incredible singer, one of the best singers I've ever heard. But she's so humble and nervous about doing it.
She has the imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome, yeah. So there was a band there, and they asked her, "Do you want to come on and do some songs with us?" And she said yes, but then she panicked and said no. So I was like, for goodness sake, because she's going to come to Dubai and we're going to get her some work. I was like, look, go tomorrow, do it and get the video. I don't care how scared you are, do it, because what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Worst that can happen. The worst that's going to happen is you get on stage and you fumble the words and you
or
freeze,
whatever, yeah.
but then no one cares.
Yeah.
No one
forget
cares
10
because you're
minutes
just an
later.
extra in their life.
Yeah.
The-
That's a
the-
nice way of looking at it.
Yeah.
It brings the stakes down.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And nothing matters.
Yeah.
So just do it.
But
Just
if
do
it
why not?
works,
But if it works, it's great.
so great. And if it doesn't, there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you actually look at it in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing to lose. It's just embarrassment, which is the price of entry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like things like world championships and stuff like that, winning that for us, again, doesn't matter. No one cares. But the reason we do it is because of our own personal satisfaction. There was a what's his name? Alex Hormozi?
Alex Ramon.
Yeah.
One of my favorite ever quotes that he said is, "You don't get confidence by yelling affirmations at yourself in the mirror. True confidence comes from providing the world with irrefutable evidence that you are who you say you are." And I love that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way we feel a little bit about winning the World Championships is it's now something that we've got. We'll never not have that.
Yeah.
That just is always going to feel good. And it doesn't matter if it means nothing. If we go on a Got Talent show and get the golden buzzer, no one really cares. We might get an extra couple of hundred followers.
Which
is what happens. It's not making us famous, but it's just something that we've done now. We've got that thing. We will always be able to look back and go,
yeah, you're going to be like 70 and look back and just have like such incredible highlights. It's like, it's so nice. I really like, I can understand. You also mentioned Alex Hormozi. Another one of his quotes, I think, is like, you work so hard that it's literally unreasonable for you to not succeed. And that's exactly what you two have done. You've worked so hard that it would be so unreasonable if you didn't win the buzzer, didn't win. It makes sense.
And now, bring your mystery item. We would love to be the extras in this experience now.
Yeah, so this is something that made us feel very, very accomplished and special. It was a very special thing when we got it, remember?
So these are our members of the Inner Magic Circle pins. There's only 300, there's 250 members in the world. There can only ever be maximum 300.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have to be invited by the president of the Magic Circle.
There is a president of the Magic Circle.
There is, yes.
He's
very cool. He's very cool.
Oh my God.
We're friends with him, yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All I ever dreamt of was that I was in Hogwarts and I was a witch. And this is the
Harry
closest
Potter.
thing it gets
It is pretty much like it.
in the real world.
Yeah.
Like,
Big
wow.
Harry Potter fan.
Big, yeah.
Really?
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
do you
can't
get
believe it
cooler?
didn't-
I know.
How did
Turn
you
up.
just get
Yeah.
cooler?
Nice. This is
Wow.
so. There's only 300 or 250 in the
So
world.
at this point, can
currently
I touch
250,
it?
but there can only
250.
ever be maximum 300.
She's asking if
May
she
I
can
touch
touch
it?
it.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. And there are like, how many women are there? Like 10, 20
Yeah.
women
That's
only? It's just, it means everything
wow.
to me.
That's so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine that the magic space is mostly men.
It is, but
Yeah.
it's changing so quickly
Really?
now.
And you
Yeah.
are behind that inspiration, by the way. You know,
I love
with
it.
how
I would
you-
love to
There's
believe
astrology
that.
here.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
so
It's a very
cool.
cool, it's a very cool logo they have. It's amazing. Yeah.
And the fact that it's red, that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
That's we were in the clubhouse at the Circle. We'd performed for their convention the night before, and then we went just to hang out with the members.
And
then
the
we went to
president
see-
at that point was it was an amazing young woman magician. Yes.
and she called us down. No, she called everyone down to the main club room, and then they started talking, and she was holding these, and she said we're going to make 2 new members of the Inner Magic Circle now, and I was just like, hang on a minute.
Is that awesome?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's another thing that I never, growing up, I never thought, I was always part of the Magic Circle. I never thought I'd be a member, because the highest you can get by examination is associate to the Inner Magic Circle.
Yeah, you need to pass an exam
Yeah.
to get to the membership. Yeah.
So you got member, you got kind of apprentice, member, associate to the Inner Magic Circle, and then Inner Magic Circle, which is just something that's awarded because you've advanced magic in some way.
It's like a hall of
Yeah.
fame.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
and
We
for
love
your
it.
Thank
Thank
you guys.